Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, I gotta own it, you know? We're in a protracted, let's call it like a 3-week slump, is what it feels like. You know, 4 wins on, 1 loss, 4 wins, 1 loss, 2 wins, 1 loss. You get the general idea. AEWWASN4? Speed up. That's poison. I can live with poison. Is this is not an XL floor? Okay, so we had to handle all the little banal minutia. You knock that out of there. Oh, baby. Well worth it. What an incredible room. All right. Don't let it tilt you. It's been, you know, I recorded that bone-destroying loss. That was Friday. Today's Monday. Had a great weekend. You know, come back rested, refreshed, and not carrying any of that, you know, inertia. You know, like quicksand, you know what I mean? You lose a run, you're like, I gotta get, you struggle to try to get a win as soon as possible, and then you just find yourself making these gameplay mechanical shortcuts that lead to you taking damage you shouldn't take. You stack up a couple of losses in a row before you know it. You're like, I'm terrible at this game. It's helpful sometimes, take a little bit of a break, you know? I think the only, I mean, I've been through streaks, I've been through slumps, admittedly, well, that was just bad order. Admittedly, more slumps than streaks lately. Some of them with the, you know, bad variance can be considered, if not a culprit, a major contributing factor. Some of them, poor play, for sure. Some of them, a lack of focus. Some of them, you get lost in the anecdotal sauce. But we've gotten ourselves into slumps, and we've gotten ourselves out of slumps. Number one piece of advice that I have is just, you know, keep doing what you're doing. If you know you got good habits, you know, sometimes things aren't going to go your way, but if you, over a long enough time scale, you're probably going to be able to get yourself out of there. Like in mud runners, when your truck gets stuck in the mud and then you attach a winch to the tree and then pull yourself out. You know what I'm talking about. I really don't want to leave the floor yet, but unfortunately, I think this is for the best. You know, we already have a better trinket. I think I would have loved to have gotten an arcade, but, you know, life goes on. I don't get mud runners. To be honest, I know I'm evolving into the ultimate gamer dad. You know, I've got a HOTAS for flight simulators. I use my wheel at like the Logitech G29. I use the wheel and the pedals at least once a week, preferably more. It really depends on, you know, the amount of time I'm able to. Well, you know, here's the thing: is like sometimes I could be playing other games, of course, but when I don't have anything else to do at night, maybe I got like 45 minutes or an hour to just kill. A little late to be walking around just for, you know, comfort levels, not for danger levels, but you know, you'd rather go for a walk at like 7:30, catch some Pokemon and kick some Team Mystic tryhards out of the gym, when it's still like bright outside than, you know, it's like midnight and you gotta, your phone is like a lighthouse in the middle of the darkness. Anyway, what am I you'd rather just drive your Renault Clio around and you know, try to get a new best lap time on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. You might be like, what the heck is this guy talking about? So you're like, where's Counterfeit Penny? I believe that thanks to a bag of marbles, we swallowed it. I hope. It is very early to get a proc on that, but anyway, I didn't finish my train of thought. I've been evolving into the ultimate gamer dad. I haven't quite gotten there yet, you know, and I recognized where my point of, where my limit was, where my asymptote was, for those of you in 10th grade mathematics right now. It was Mud Runners. You know, it's got like 7,000 thumbs up reviews on Steam. It's a game about getting your truck stuck in the mud and then getting out of the mud. And then when I was playing it, I was like, I don't get it at all. I'm not gonna say it's not money well spent, because like I don't even understand the Steam sale anymore. I didn't buy anything in the Steam sale this year except for Mud Runners, and Literally, that game cost me $0. It was just like, when I bought it, it was like, do you want to use your Steam sale loyalty points to take $5 off the price? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Why not? And then I just kept doing that until it was free. So I don't know. They must be selling my personal data or something down the pipeline. Either way, it was a free-to-play game somehow. But while I was playing it, I was like, you know what? I'm not at dad status yet, I guess. Maybe I'm at, like, cool uncle status. You know, your nieces or nephews come over and they're like, whoa, you got, like, a steering wheel in your office, like a really cool dude. And you're like, it's not really how adults see it most of the time, but finally, somebody's, you know, on my level here. Not quite at full dad status with the, you know, what do they call it? The H-shifter? You know, when you're playing a truck simulator and you got the simulated gearbox next to you, and the Track IR, and the Oculus Rift, and the Oculus Drift, and so on and so forth. Anyway, it was a good weekend, dude. I got no complaints. You might be asking, how did the IKEA trip go? The IKEA trip, it went gangbusters. I do have to say, for those of you who thought I was being over-dramatic, I did see a parking lot car accident. Now, I have to tell you, yikes. Not that bad, but obviously also not that good. It wasn't at the IKEA. After we left the IKEA, which was fine, had a nice serving of meatballs, Côte Boulard, some mashed potatoes and lingonberry jam. Bought a $30 footrest, so I got a more ergonomic support at my desk here. I also peeped some of those adjustable sitting standing desks, and I'm like, oh man. That's a little gift from me to me coming, you know, maybe this Christmas if I play my cards right. I know that whenever you bring up standing desks, people are like, oh, it's like pseudoscience that it actually benefits you. Here's my thinking. I just don't like sitting down that much. If I can get the cable management set up properly so that when I raise or lower the desk, you know, using the electronic switch, that it doesn't like rip the cables out of the power bar, then I'll consider myself, you know, a convert, I think. 'Cause sometimes I just like to stand up, to be honest. Not to like watch a movie or something like that, but if I'm not, you know, if I'm just reading or something, I think I'd rather be standing than sitting some of the time. Anyway, the point is, I got some stuff at the IKEA. Then we left, and it's legendary raid day in Pokemon Go. So, you know, we're in Richmond, which is a city of its own right, just outside of Vancouver. It's probably got like, I don't know, 700,000 or 800,000 people would be my guess. Found a spot where there would be some raids. It's known as Aberdeen Mall. And I gotta tell you, I think that might be the scariest parking lot I've ever been in my entire life. I've parked in some tight spaces. I've previously been of the opinion, you know, I've got a backup camera. I don't consider myself one of those dudes who's like, oh yeah, I could parallel park in, you know, a parking spot the size of a postage stamp. You just gotta use your mirrors and blah blah. I consider myself like an adequate parker. And because we have a backup camera, I can back into any spot that's basically the size of our car plus the amount of space required to open a door. And that's performance enhancing technology. It's not due to, you know, my unique spatial brain or anything like that. This parking lot scared the crap out of me. Cars coming down both sides, parking spots super tightly packed, and then we did see, please, I want some statistic improving items, if you do not mind. We might not need Yumhard, but I think we do need Yumhard because we only have one Spirit Art protecting us, and we're still at base damage. Anyway, let's move on. We did see a little bit of an accident where a driver was reversing to get into a parking spot. They swung their front end around. Their front end hit the back end of the car that was just in front of them. And if you thought that it was gummed up in that parking lot before, wait until, you know, you see a minor fender bender, and then, like, one of the people is, like, screaming from their car, like, hey, don't go, I hit you. And then the other person is going, what? And then there's, like, you know, 9 cars behind them that are just like, please, I just want to, I've made a huge mistake. I would just like to exit this park. And then the raids didn't even pop. We didn't get enough people to make it anyway. I still caught a few, but not there. We had to venture elsewhere. Anyway, that was basically my weekend. I saw Toy Story 4 as well. As, you know, it was a pretty standard, you know, pedestrian, domestic weekend. I really thought we might get out of the mix there. I'm begging you not to screw up the deal with the devil chance here. Oh, dude, a bone heart on the house is pretty solid. Well, for a key, it's pretty good. Better than our item rooms thus far, to be honest with you. What did I think about Toy Story 4? Dude, Toy Story 4 is almost like refreshing to have a movie that's just, you know, standalone, great. And what makes it great is just a nice, you know, old-fashioned kind of family-friendly adventure movie that's shot and scripted really well. It's got some clever animation in it. It's got some moments that are fun for the whole family. You don't have to question, oh, what does this mean for the toys? Okay, we definitely need this, to be honest. What does this mean for the Toy Story extended universe? Where are they gonna go with this with Toy Story? It doesn't matter, you know? You just, it was like an old-fashioned trip to the movie theater. You just watch a good movie and you go, you know, I like these characters. I like the Randy Newman, you know. You got a friend in me. This is a real question. Has Randy Newman done anything but Toy Story since like 1996? Because like, people might not know this. I mean, it's from, like, before my... Oh, careful. It's from before my time. But Randy Newman is, like, a respected singer-songwriter. You know, he's not just the Toy Story guy. I was, like, 9 when Toy Story came out. So he's kind of always been the Toy Story guy for me as well. But he's also, you know... Sure people got no reason. The song's a satire. Get over it, Napoleon. Okay. Use your golden bombs. Help me, help myself. No. I'm not losing this bone heart. Not today. Sadly, I don't think we can really take Void. So I think we're just going to move on. But, dude, honestly, Blue Candle is so important here. But we really, like, we need to go back and get HP at least. This is probably not charged. Yeah, one away. I'll walk all the way back for the hearts that are available. We should have a win, like, just on the cusp of greatness here. We're not quite guaranteed yet, but Blue Candle plus, you know, HP is fairly great. I actually want to do some more rooms to maybe buy a Spirit Heart as well, mostly to protect the Bone Heart. But I feel like Randy Newman just kind of like, he became like the Toy Story guy. And I gotta be honest, like, as a teenager, I think I would find that really lame. Like, you're a cool singer-songwriter, you know, you're well-respected for a kind of like acerbic and yet, you know, with a soft center sort of pop sensibility. Then you get this fat Disney contract and you're like, I'm done. The older I get, the more I'm like, yo, he's living the dream, dude. I've come to really respect, and I mean this sincerely. Obviously, I respect, you know, artists who stick to their creative sensibilities, don't ever, you know, or consistently at least sell out or, you know, give up, blah, blah, blah. But I also, like, I've come to at least understand people in Hollywood or, you know, musicians who basically have a really commercially successful niche and then just kind of stay in there, you know? Like, I think the best example for me is, like, I think of, like, Mark Ruffalo, okay? So Mark Ruffalo he's a really, really good actor. He plays Bruce Banner in The Hulk. That's where I'm going with this. He's a really, really good actor. He was in Collateral. He's in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He's been in a lot of great independent movies. And then he became Bruce Banner. And you might be like, well, this is a little bit of a waste of Mark Ruffalo's talents. First off, I think he's amiable as the Hulk, okay? Secondly, I'm like, good for him. Good for him. You should start thinking of it that way. You know, he had, it's kind of like, you know, Modest Mouse is maybe another example, although they've kind of like shied away from that, I guess. But, you know, they made all this cool art when they were up and coming, and then, you know, flowed on, made it onto Now That's What I Call Music Volume 75, and, I think you gotta say, please just give me a spirit heart. I think you gotta say good for them. That's my 2 cents on that subject, you know? You get the best of both worlds. Respected by fans and critics, but also simultaneously, at least a period of commercial success and stability. It's a very groovy combination, baby. No real reason to void anything. We could only void Yumheart, I think. That's my 2 cents on that subject. So you know what? Good for Randy Newman, dude. It's like if Marvel called me up and they're like, hey, we want you to play, I don't know, some nerd who's, you know, like the one dude in the Marvel movies who's like, you know, in one of the movies he's like an advisor, and then, you know, like 17 movies later, you're like, actually, he was working for Hydra the whole time. And he's just kind of like, he's meant to be this, like, you know, kind of spineless brat. I'm like, dude, if Marvel called me up and they're like, hey, we want you to play, you know, Weirdo Scientist number 75, and, you know, it's a 6-movie contract, I would be like, you Bombay, I'm in. Sign me up, dude. Probably not gonna happen. Mostly because, you know, I've been working out for like 6 months, so I'm just like so... Like, I just can't play a scientist anymore. Even with the glasses, it's like, you know, I pretty much gotta get that Bruce Banner role is the only way they could fit me in. Because, like, I've just become so unbelievably yoked in such a short period of time that I've ruined my ability to be cast. I only get typecast as, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger types now. Okay, we got a real concern here. The concern is essentially not losing this bone heart, which would ruin our deal with the devil / angel chance, and also take the bone heart away from us, which is, you know, a very good item in and of itself. Or, well, yeah, I'd call it an item. I don't want to disrespect it. Spirit heart? Very nice. Very nice indeed. We might still be going. I gotta tell you, though, like, a lot of these runs that we've been having, they make me feel like something has changed deep in the Isaac, you know, the archives. Because we're just, for whatever reason, maybe it's observer bias, maybe it's real, maybe it's variance. It just feels like we've had a lot of runs lately that basically just leave you a base damage. Were it not for Blue Candle, I would be complaining nonstop right now. And it feels like, you know, and this is, yikes, 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 yikes. This is, you know, like kind of a classic problem with the human brain. It's like, you know, if something happens that's maybe unlikely, you think, like, there's no conceivable way it could happen again. Like, if something has a 10% chance of happening, and then it happens once. This is just another good example of a trash room here, but, then you think to yourself, or maybe you don't think, but subconsciously, in your head, you're like, well, there's no way it's gonna be that again. It was only a 10% chance. But it's still got the same chance to happen again. You know, if you rolled a d10, I mean, everybody knows this, but I'm just spitballing here. If you roll a d10, you know, the odds of getting a 10 is 10%. The odds of getting 2 10s in a row is 1%. You know, 1 in 10 times 1 in 10. But the odds of getting a 10 after you've rolled a 10 are still 10%. If you take that first roll out of there, you know, people, I think they're guilty of almost like backdating the probability. It's true, the odds of rolling 2 10s is 1%. But after you've already rolled 1 10, the odds of rolling 2 10s is now 10%. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. There's a smart audience watching Isaac these days, or falling asleep to audience. Or falling asleep to Isaac, I should say. Help. Oh, that was just bad damage. Okay, a deal with the angel. Dude, I don't know. I really want this to be one of the top tier items. Sure, I mean, it is. Just because it's not one of the top tier damage items, it's selfish of me to be frustrated by that. Holy Mantle is absurd. It also opens up new channels of getting great DPS. Like, if we could just get an orbital now, Holy Mantle becomes arguably an enabler of one of the best, you know, possible damage upgrades in the game. To be able to walk into any given room and just, you know, orbital an enemy to death with no risk to yourself is very positive. I'm not gonna say thanks, placenta. It just feels weird coming out of my mouth. Alright. Well, the run, it has gotten a lot better. I still hate to see that, you know, low damage, and it is low damage, don't kid yourself. Low damage base rate of fire, but Blue Candle is a nice shortcut to sustainability. And of course, Holy Mantle's quite nice as well. I mean, much better, actually, but might as well take this. And we'll move on. Yeah, it's a pretty, pretty low-key weekend. I got the same movie theater anecdotes I always do. Which is that I just don't understand. I never realized, until I started going to the movies, you know, once every other week apparently, that so many young men out there don't wash their hands when they use a public bathroom. If I could just, and I don't want to go down this road for the 500th time, but I just implore you, if you're a Northernlion viewer, we can be the change we want to see in the world. Wash your hands in a public bathroom, okay? Whatever you do in the context of your own home, I don't care, you know? I'm not the cleanest individual on planet Earth. But if you're in a public bathroom, just, you know, you already probably cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. You try not to do it on somebody's shoulder or something like that. You know, you don't pick your nose and then rub it on somebody else's coat or something like that. Why is washing your hands different? I worry about people that, and this is sincere, but also won't somebody think of the children-esque. I worry about people who shy away from doing a 10-second chore that helps out them and the people around them. Just because the benefits are, like, unseen. You know, is the easiest thing you could possibly do in the world. Plus, your hands are going to smell nice. Depending on the soap, I guess. But, you know, it's the... You can't look for these shortcuts in all areas of your life, you know? Some people... I'm not a dentist, okay? But what I'm about to say might ruffle some feathers out there, but I don't think it will. But every now and then, we talk about, like, you know, brushing your teeth. Thought we'd take a stab at that one. On the NLSS. And then, like, some people... You know, I brush my teeth twice a day. Some people brush them 3 times a day. But there's a lot of people, a surprising amount of people out there that brush them once a day or perhaps even less. And it is kind of gross to me, okay? I'm not judging you. I'm trying to help. It's literally like a 2 to 3 minute task that, you know, once you start doing it, I don't know if this necessarily is a cogent and non-fallacious argument, but once you start doing it, if you don't do it, you will realize why it should be done. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, here's my analog here for that is, you know, if you were alive in, like, the 13th century, and people were like, I take a bath, you know, a time traveler came back and was like, well, we bathe every day in the year 2019. They would be like, bathe every day? That's ridiculous. You don't need to bathe every day. I mean, here in the Middle Ages, we bathe once a month if we're lucky, and, you know, nobody smells bad. No, wrong. Everybody smells bad, and that's why you think you don't need to bathe. Also, you got something real nasty coming your way in the form of the bubonic plague. I don't know if, you know, necessarily you're going to be able to save yourself with more bathing. I mean, it's not that you don't want to bathe. It's really an access issue, I suppose. But anyway, that's kind of the way I see it. Like, you ever, you know, accidentally forget to brush your teeth when you go to school or work or something like that? It's happened to me, you know, I mean, now I just would go brush them because I work from home. But it's, you know, happened to me in school. You get to school and you're like, oh, my mouth feels like garbage. Did I brush my teeth this morning? Ah, crap, I didn't. It might not even be noticeable for other people, although your breath probably smells pretty bad. But For you, you're like, ooh, this is gross. I'm telling you, what benefit do you get out of not brushing your teeth 2 times a day? You're saving yourself 2 to 3 minutes, you know? Now, should I brush 3 times a day? I don't know, maybe. I'm not trying to save 2 or 3 minutes. It's just I've never been in a habit of doing it. And moreover, I mean, I feel like I'm not necessarily the gold standard for dental hygiene. Although my dentist is always like, you're looking pretty good here. I think of it more like, you know, twice a day is like the minimum for like adequate dental hygiene. And like they said in Office Space, do you want to do the minimum or do you want to, you know, Tyler wears 35 pieces of flair. I guess that's not really a fair comparison because you could probably brush too much. But anyway, you know, you can't live your life trying to cut 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there, you know, trying to find a shortcut. Especially as you get older, you know, responsibilities, they require time. Sometimes you're going to have to do things you don't want to do, and it's nice to have that muscle built up, you know? The muscle that's like, if something takes an extra 10 minutes, whatever. That's 10 minutes of like, okay, I won't get to do as many laps of the Nordschleife in my virtual Renault Clio. You know, you get over. Maybe you have to skip 1 League of Legends or Teamfight Tactics game a day to do your meal prep, and then, you know, it's worth it, I promise you. But like the washing the hands and the brushing the teeth is the one that gets me. I don't brush my teeth for other people. I brush my teeth for myself, dude. Not only because I want to keep my teeth, but also because, like, if you don't do it, they feel gross. But I feel like I'm probably preaching to the choir here. It's just some of the things you see in Twitch chat, you know? Everybody I know in real life is like, yeah, I brush my teeth twice a day. Anyone I've ever talked to about it, at least. And then sometimes people in Twitch chat are like, it's dentist propaganda. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? No. Anyway. I will say, you know, I had a roommate in university. Very, very, very smart guy. What's the word, you know, when someone is like book smart but not street smart? It's kind of a weird example because he's not really not street smart. He was almost just too smart for his own good. Like, I think I've been there, and I think a lot of people that maybe, you know, watch a lot of stuff on YouTube are cut from the same cloth, where you're smart enough to have these analytical skills, and all of a sudden you start questioning everything, which is good until you start questioning stuff that is considered like, you know, base societal, you know, like it's taken for granted as just something you do, like washing your hands, for example. You end up getting these arguments with these people that think they're geniuses because they got like a 95 in 10th grade science, and they're like, well, if I don't wash my hands, then only the weak germs get to possibly propagate. As a result, I'm actually helping out humanity by increasing herd immunity. And you're like, no, just because, you know, your teacher, Miss Jennifer, thought you were smart, it doesn't make you an epidemiologist, brother. You gotta default to the wisdom of giants in these situations. Wait till you get to university, you start realizing that your entire bachelor's of science is just looking up stuff that other people wrote and using it to support your own evidentiary findings. You know, that's as the spirit of science, at least in your bachelor's degree. Regardless, he was like, dude, why do you brush your teeth in the morning? It doesn't make any sense. You already brush your teeth right before you go to bed. You don't eat anything between brushing your teeth, going to sleep, and waking up. So it's just like you're brushing your already clean mouth. And I was like, hey dude, you know, I respect you, we're friends, but, you know, I sleep in the same room as you. You sleep with your mouth open for like 10 hours. All that bacteria in there, you know, you don't have a perfectly clean mouth when you go to bed. You know, you're not going to bed with a 0%, you know, food residue stuck in your mouth. You got plaque, you got tartar and stuff like that, even if it's just to a minor degree. You know, all that bacteria that's still alive in there is just feeding. And you're introducing, you know, moisture via your saliva, and, you know, you're drying your mouth out a little bit after that by keeping it open. I gotta be honest with you, your breath smells like garbage in the morning, brother. That's why you brush your teeth in the morning, because the bacteria is festering for 8 hours. And to his credit, he was like, I get it. which is good because we still to this day can't agree whether Macho Man Randy Savage as Bonesaw McGraw in Spider-Man 1 says it's 3 minutes of playtime or 3 minutes of me time, which is ridiculous because everybody knows that he says 3 minutes of playtime. It's not a point of contention. It's a fictional argument. It doesn't make any sense why there shouldn't be two sides to this argument. Just give me the script, Sam Raimi. Anyway. You can tell the run is now, it's set. By what we're talking about. But see, it's been kind of a recurring theme, you know, for me, commentarily. As I've gotten older, you know, I know, blah, blah, I'm a man, I'm 30, blah, 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 how old is NL, I forgot, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I lose a lot of respect for people that continually try to find, you know, a shortcut to things that are actually... Like, let me put it this way. I think the real shortcut to, like, adult life is just learning to be okay with spending time doing things that need to be done. You know? Learn to be okay doing the dishes. Maximize your enjoyment of it. Put on some Netflix or something like that. Do the dishes properly. You know? With all due respect to Robert, I think my personal opinion, for sure, and I'm hesitant to even bring it up because I think that people agree with me so much that it reflects poorly on him, but I'm going to do it anyway. My opinion, the Galaxy Brain option is not to just eat everything off paper plates and then throw those paper plates in the garbage so that you don't have to do the dishes. In my personal opinion, you know, the much more noble thing is to just accept that, you know, the price you pay for eating a delicious home-cooked meal is, you know, you might have to spend 15 minutes a night doing the dishes. You could just put on some Good Omens or something in the background and go to town. You know, like last night. So yesterday was Sunday. I had a really busy work day yesterday, and I'm not complaining. You know, is playing video games, you know? But I recorded an episode, I streamed for 4 hours, then I streamed with Kate for an hour. Then I recorded another 2 or 3, I think 3 episodes or something. And then I was like, I just want to relax. But instead, while I had been working, my wife had, you know, she cleaned the bathroom, she did the dishes, she did the laundry, and you know, it's kind of like, it's infectious. You feel bad. I didn't when I was younger. Like when I was a teenager, I feel so bad about it, even though I was never rude to my mom about it, but I feel so bad for the internal monologue I would have when my mom was like cleaning my room when I was 14, when I should have been doing it myself for a multitude of different reasons. But you're like, ugh. Why does she have to clean my room right now? I'm playing Halo. Yeah, but you're playing Halo all the time. Yeah, but does she really have to vacuum so long? I don't get it. You know, it's just it's the monologue of a very selfish individual. So I don't like, I mean, let me rephrase. I like visiting my parents, but when my mom is like, hey, put your clothes like in the hamper and I'll do your laundry, I'm like, Mom, I get that like you actually would want to do it, and like it makes you feel like you're taking care of us and it's a nice thing to do, but simultaneously it makes me feel like garbage because I'm like a relatively self-sustaining adult, and you know, maybe it would actually at this point be nice to just pull back and let someone do something for me, but you've done enough of my laundry over my life, you know? Like, I tell this story on the NLSS now and then, but if you don't listen, you might not be privy. I grew up thinking that, you know, if you wear a pair of jeans, once you've worn it for a day, you toss it in the hamper. You know why I grew up thinking that? Because every time I wore a pair of jeans, I would throw it in the hamper, and my mom would wash it. Imagine my surprise when I talked to my roommates in college, university, and I was like, hey, you guys don't wash your jeans every time you wear them? They were like, no, first off, you're not supposed to, it's bad for the jean. Secondly, are you insane? That's like a staggering amount of laundry. I also, the same thing, like I used 7 towels a week. Every time I showered, I used a new towel. Now I'll admit that if you don't care about, you know, prodigious use of water, that's not necessarily like a bad idea from a cleanliness standpoint, but I would say it's overkill. You know, it's kind of like using a new towel to dry your hands every time you wash your hands, which I think most people would agree that that's too far. And I kind of see the shower as the same thing. But anyway, to get back to my original point, you know, when Kate's been cleaning a lot. I feel like kind of a slob if there's other stuff that could be done, but I'm like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. I had a hard day at work. So, you know, I cleaned out the cat's litter box, and when I cleaned it out, I spilled a little litter on the floor, and then I got the vacuum, and I vacuumed, you know, that whole area, because I, you know, caused another mess on top of that. And then once I got the, you know, the bag full of cat poop, I was like, well, I might as well take this down to the garbage room. But if I'm gonna take this down to the garbage room, I might as well take down all the garbage. So I got all the garbage in the house, put new bags in the garbage cans, loaded it all up, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna take down the garbage, I might as well, you know, take down the compost as well. So I get the compost, and I realize, oh no, our organics, the bag that we store our like organic waste in had a tear in it. I'm just waiting for pencil here. So now, like, there we go. That was the perfect time for it. So now, like, it's dripped out all over the organics containers, so I go wash the organics containers. I'm like, I don't want this gross old tomato juice sitting in my house, you know, getting spores of God knows what in the air. Then I was like, well, if I'm gonna take down the organic stuff and the compost, I might as well take down the recycling as well. I took down the recycling as well. You know, this like 2-minute chore that I thought I was gonna do turned into like actually like a half hour of domestic maintenance. And you know what? I'm happy I did it. Because now we get the benefit of having and keeping a clean house, and it's work that doesn't need to be done later. Anyway, this has been a preachy episode, but I hope you'll forgive me. I also forgot, apparently, that Mega Satan has 2 phases. I hope you'll forgive me, because it just feels good to win again. I'm just saying, I'm trying to give you, like, I don't like to give advice necessarily, because, you know, a lot of, you know, my position in life professionally, I think really comes down to luck and timing. And I think anybody that's like, you know, it's just hard work and following your dreams. You know, you gotta recognize there's a little element of, you know, rolling the dice. You know, there's a great Bo Burnham quote. All I know about Bo Burnham is 8th Grade. It's a good movie. But I'm not part of the cult of Bo Burnham. I haven't seen Be Happy. Is that what it's called? On the Netflix special. But he said, you know, asking a successful person how to be successful, it's like asking a lottery winner how to be successful. It's like, yeah, just liquidate your assets and buy Powerball tickets. It worked for me. But the one piece of advice is, you know, you get older, get to learn to take pleasure from doing those domestic maintenance chores. Otherwise, you're going to end up on Hoarders, dude, and I don't want that for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!